Was that today?
He said he signed an extension.
Oh man, I haven't been on the social medias today, so that's exciting.
He's making $30 million this next season instead of 15, double his salary. Oh.
1 year's $30 million?
Yeah.
1 year, $30 million.
1 year?
That's what he said.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
how many years did he sign for?
Till his extension's till 2021.
So to 2021.
He'll be 45.
So 45 years old.
Wow. That's great. Well, that just made me happy. Thank you, Spencer.
He said thanks. That made him happy.
Yeah. He's still the 15th highest paid quarterback in the league. Now, and instead of 27. He was 27th highest paid. Now he's 15th.
Well, if you're making 30 million in 1 year, though.
Oh, that's nothing compared to those other guys are paying. Aaron Rodgers is making like 55 once.
No.
Yeah.
Not for 1 year.
I'm pretty sure.
You better look that up.
50.
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers was ahead of.
Those are baseball numbers.
Maybe it was the 15 million or 30
It's
million
over.
20.
It's probably 30 million over the next couple seasons.
Yeah, that might be what it is.
Yeah,
Hey, if he made 30 million in one season, I'm okay with it. He deserves it. He's paid his dues. But yeah, I don't see that happening in the NFL.
Yeah, you're right. I think it was still 2021. But yeah, his last contract, it said, I remember, it was 15 million, whatever, 3 or 4 year deal, 3-year deal, and then he signed a 30 million until 2021. So whatever that adds up to be. But
big money is what it adds up to being.
Yeah, big money, but my wife makes 3 times more than me.
Which still doesn't make any sense to me.
What does she do? She's a supermodel, but she
Jackson, what does she do? Nothing. She does nothing.
She shows her body. She's a good-looking girl, but I wouldn't consider.
She's a good-looking girl, and she makes more than Tom Brady. How does that work? All right, we're gonna say goodbye to you guys.
Alrighty, see ya.
Call us later. Bye. All right. Oh my goodness.
Wow, that's awesome. I did not hear about that, so that's amazing.
Yeah, I guess
so much
there was rumors out there that he was going to play to 45, right?
Yeah. So much for the turmoil that some members of the media were saying. That's why Tom Brady hasn't been signed yet. Turmoil amongst the organization.
Well,
they always try to tear him down. Yeah.
But in all reality, like, there is no when you've just won the Super Bowl and you're the team's top player, the turmoil shouldn't be around you.
Right.
I mean, it's usually something else.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, good day over here.
It's a fantastic day. That just made my day.
Yeah.
I was off the grid for a few hours, and see what happens when I go off the grid for a few hours?
I know, like, you're every day you're thinking, oh, the news is going to drop here. And then you let a couple hours go by, and then it's like, boom.
Yeah, and I just find out Brady signs the extension. So training camp started up. I'm so excited. I love this time of year.
Training camp, huh?
Training camp, and NFL's going, so we won't be without football until February.
It's my favorite time of the year, too, but usually not for that reason.
So I get back from, I was down in lovely Florida.
Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
And, see, as soon as I talk about Florida, Jason leaves, just like he did when he knew for months when I was coming down, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll be there. And then when I show up, oh, I'm going to the E-Nets. Sorry, bro.
Okay. Is that you in real life?
Yeah, it is. I'm pretty bad at that.
So you went to Florida.
Yeah. And you disappear on me.
I was in Virginia.
All right. What do we have going on there? E-Nationals?
Yeah, the Roar E-Nationals.
So that race is important now?
It is.
It is. Okay. It wasn't that important when it was up in my neck of the woods, but apparently when I go into Florida, all of a sudden it becomes important and you got to go.
Well, I have been, let's see. I've been to the E-Nationals for the last 3 years, I think.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. So you didn't see that on your calendar until I got there, right?
It was probably on my calendar for most of the year.
Funny. Okay. But you weren't going to go until you said, oh my God, Gotti's in Florida. Got to get the hell out of here.
I honestly, I don't remember anything about agreeing to be in town during that.
I have you on podcast saying, you know what, that week looks pretty good for me. That looks pretty good for me. I guess what you meant by that was it looks pretty good for you going to the E-Nationals.
It could be. Yeah, I don't remember agreeing to be there at that particular time, but
that's fine. Okay, all right. Well, I could prove you wrong otherwise, but I won't do that. You know what? You're a good friend of mine.
If I did, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Well, I just was looking forward to dinner, but that's why you build.
All right, so looking at the calendar now.
What's October look like? Well, you got the Worlds. When's that?
The Worlds is actually in September, but
okay.
October, the first weekend, is the Fall Indoor Nationals.
Okay.
The weekend after that is the IOCC in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
The weekend after that's supposed to be the BK Classic in Hobby Action.
Oh, wow. And
then our Midwest Carpet Nationals is the fourth weekend. Technically, I could be out of town every weekend in October, but there's got to be clearly something I have to pull the plug on here.
Well, you may not want to do that on the second week, which would be Vegas, I think. So looks like that's when I'll be down there again.
Oh, so you have it scheduled already?
Well, I don't know if I should tell you that or not.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had a great time in Florida. And actually, the weather couldn't have been more perfect. I mean, it actually switched. It got up here in Pennsylvania, it was like 100 degrees during that week that I was in Florida. In Florida, I think the hottest it got was 95. And we even had some days that were like 87, 86. It was perfect. And the humidity wasn't even that bad. I thought the humidity was going to kill me. And, you know, and when I told people when I was going, they're like, oh, you're crazy going to Florida in July. And, you know.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. And I lucked out. I mean, we went to Treasure Island. That's where I stayed. At the beach, Treasure Island Beach Resort, actually, which I got to give a major shout out to them because it was a fantastic place. I think I sent you pictures. I know I sent Allison pictures and she loved it.
I didn't see any pictures.
Well, you know, you skip right over that stuff. But anyway. So
I just see pictures of you by the pool.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a fantastic week. It was perfect. And the only thing missing was my buddy Jason. So kind of hurt, I got to admit, but whatever. You could have showed up at the resort and we could have had a good time. And you could have bought me dinner. But what a great week, dude. It's fantastic. Went jet skiing. That was a lot of fun.
I saw that photo.
Yeah. Dolphins right next to our jet ski out there. Never seen a dolphin jump out of the water like that. It was like fantastic. It was so much fun, but
swimming with the dolphins in Florida.
I should have jumped in. Yeah, I should have jumped in.
It's like the sales pitch. Come visit Florida.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, the vacation started off with, you know, we took a Allegiant out of Harrisburg. Okay. And it all started off with, we're packing the night before, and Carrie's asking me, because she's packing up the suitcase. I just had like a carry-on, like what?
A couple shirts, some cargos.
Yeah, well, because you end up going to the beach.
NWO shirt.
You end up going to the beach and wearing the same stuff every day. Like, I rarely get to the bottom of the bag. I just end up wearing the board shorts, and that's pretty much it. So, anyway, she's packing up the suitcase. You know how, women, they pack it. They're bringing everything pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, hey, look, don't go over 50 pounds, because if you go over 50 pounds, you're screwed. You're going to have to like either take some stuff out, because her sister was bringing us to the airport. So we're like, if it's over 50, you're going to have to take some stuff out and leave it behind with your sister. So, so Carrie packs up the bag, jam packed. We put it on a scale at home, reads 50 pounds. You would not believe, I'm not shitting you, bro. 50 pounds. I'm like, man, I'm like, I hope this scale's accurate, because we're right there. So I said, what we'll do is we'll get to the airport. We'll tell your sister to hold on and wait right there by the curb, just in case we need to unload something. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I run the bag into the scale. It's right inside the door there. Put it on the digital scale there. Read it 50. Okay. No lie.
Right on the money.
Right on the money. Could not believe it. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, hey, I waved to her sister. I told her, you can go, because we're good. So we're standing in line to check this bag in, and there's a sign there, and it says, when you're, checking in your bag, 40 pounds max. 40, not 50.
That's on Allegiant, huh?
Allegiant is 40 pounds. And I'm like, what? So, we put it up on the scale. It measures 50, and the guy's like, well, you're 10 pounds over. That would be $50.
That's when you take 10 pounds out, put it in your backpack.
I had no room in there. Again, I had a small backpack, and I had it, I had my shorts in there and my shirts. I had everything right to the top. I didn't have a lot in there, but there's not a lot of room in there. So I had no room to throw it. I couldn't do it. So we're like, all right, let's just pay the 50. You know what I mean? Just pay the 50. I mean, obviously we have to, but like, okay, $50, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're thinking like, well, wait a minute. When I come back, I have to pay 50 again. You know what I mean? Like, so $100 to get this bag back. It's insane.
Yeah, you might as well throw it away.
So that's how the whole I'm like, this is starting out well. This is going to be great. Yeah, that was my fault there. I guess I could have easily looked that up. So then we're standing in line, and, I'm already $100 in the hole, pretty much. And,
go.
And then, like, and I messaged this to you. I was shocked, and I don't travel much anymore. And then, like, and the last time I went to Florida in April, I didn't see this. But anyway, we get to the airport, and there's dogs everywhere.
Yeah, they'll run the dogs occasionally.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is this? Like, here it says emotional support animals on their vest. There's people there with these dogs, and they're bringing them on the flight, sitting on your lap. They're on their lap.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
I was blown away. I was like, the flight coming home, when we came home, there was 3 dogs on that flight, and they were emotional support animals. And it was funny. Isn't that crazy though?
I've seen more of them too lately.
What is going on out there? Everybody needs these emotional support animals?
Well, I think it's just kind of their way of getting around some of the rules, but I don't think you need an emotional support collar or vest to bring your dog on the plane, but I think...
You need to prove that it's an emotional support animal, though, in some way, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think you can bring a pet and try to... But it's just kind of a sketchy situation, because I always kind of feel like I'm impeding on everybody else's You know what I mean? Like their flight. It's
like you wouldn't bring Jazzy on board with you.
I mean, it only if I had no other option.
Right.
But I wouldn't do it, because I just feel like she would be annoying people.
Yeah.
Although everybody would just be like, "Oh my God, it's a cute little puppy." But I don't know what she's gonna do. But I notice a lot of people with these larger dogs, they'll just lay down. Usually, what I've noticed is they try to sit in the front row with these larger dogs with the emotional support vest,
yep.
And then they lay down on the floor in the first row because there's usually the most room right there.
And they're pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, they're usually all very good dogs, but you're basically taking up that whole section with a dog. You sit in your seat, and then the dog is like kind of taking up a lot of room, really. I always kind of feel like it's imposing on everybody a little bit. It's one thing if you don't have any other choice, you have to move your dog, but yeah, it seems like if you're taking up like a lot of floor space, especially where my feet are or something, it's not like I'm mind if you have a nice dog, but it's just I feel like you're really imposing on somebody.
Yeah, it's I was just shocked, and I remember messaging you about it, and I was like, wow, I just couldn't believe the amount of people that are carrying these dogs around now. It's crazy. And I guess anything. Like I guess people could bring a cat on, birds, whatever. But it's just, I mean, just seeing it's just odd. It's
your emotional support bird.
Yeah. So what happens when a dog takes a dump, right?
It's funny that you should. It's funny you should say that, because last time I flew to Arizona, the dog didn't do it on the plane, but immediately when it got to baggage claim, it did. So it was the dog was up in the front row.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, it was kind of sprawled out up there. It was being good, and listening to the owner and stuff, but it was a big dog, and the guy would stand up like through the flight, and the dog would stand up next to him, and so he would be like hanging out in kind of the aisle, and the dog standing up by him, and he would get to talking to somebody, and the dog would start like wandering down the aisle a little bit, and he's like, "Hey, come back." And the dog would come back to him and just sit right there.
That's nuts, man.
So, and this thing is a big dog, like we were talking about. It's not like just one of these tiny puppies. Like, this thing's pretty big. But it was really well behaved. Like, he'd say, "Hey, come back here." The dog would come right back, sit there. But he'd start talking to somebody again, and the dog would kind of wander off a little bit. And he's like, "Hey, get back over here." And then once we got off the flight, then it, had its little accident right by baggage claim, and I'm kind of walking. I got my headphones on, and I just hear this guy kind of yell, like, "Watch out for the poop!" I'm just like thinking to myself, I'm like, what?
It's funny. It's amazing how different it is today from years ago. That these animals are just everywhere. Even when you go in stores and stuff now, like you go into, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, and there's dogs in there. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think about bringing my dog into these places, but.
Yeah, they got to bring them everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, it's every so often you'll see some of these really, they're usually the dogs I see are pretty well behaved, and I think that's what people kind of think of. They kind of think, well, my dog's really well behaved, and
yeah.
And, I don't have to worry too much about it. And I think that's where it kind of starts. And then they just feel that it's okay to bring them along. So,
yeah, I didn't hear anything from these dogs at all on the flight. I mean, everything was quiet. I was waiting for them to start barking at each other. And
yeah,
it would have been crazy. But
yeah, there's no way Jazzy wouldn't be barking.
Yeah. All right, so anyway, we get down to Florida, and so we booked this. So now, earlier I mentioned I stayed at the Treasure Island Beach Resort. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Now, we originally booked a hotel at the Treasure Island Beach Club, which is 3 hotels down from this one. And it was, Treasure Island has a lot of these hotels that are like, look like they're from the 1950s. You know what I mean? They still have that 50s look to them.
Mm-hmm.
And which I like, because I go to Cape May, New Jersey, and they have a lot of those 1950 motels, and they're beautiful. I mean, they keep them nice, and they're great inside, you know, and it just has a great atmosphere about it. And I like that stuff. It's just the way I am. So when Carrie was looking this stuff up for vacation, I was like, man, look at that. The pictures look great. The pool looked great. The rooms look great, clean. And so we booked that, the Treasure Island Beach Club. And I'm calling these guys out because you'll find out why here. So we our flight landed like 1 o'clock, and we weren't going to be able to check in till 4. And they said, well, hey, you know, when you just check with the front desk, though, your room might be available at that time anyway, because, you know, it all depends if they get the room clean and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, okay. So we took the Uber to the motel, and you know, what's the worst thing that can happen? We'll just wait by the poolside until our room's done. So we get there, and we go into the front desk, and, you know, we said, hey, you know, who we are and stuff. And when, you know, they said check-in wasn't until 4, but we're just seeing if our room's available. And lady's like, all check-ins are till 4, or at 4 o'clock. You can't come sooner than that. Like, really rude.
Okay.
And I'm like, wow, to me, that raised a little red flag, because I don't like when people, you know, you're on vacation. It should be nice to you when you show up at the front desk. And rude as hell. And I actually think she was the owner. And it was an older lady and just rude. And I was thinking, you know, hey, lady, you told us to check. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So we're like, all right, we'll just wait around. So we wait around, and you know, they have not a boardwalk, but they have this walk on the beach there. It's like a sidewalk, and you can go all the way down and do all this stuff. So we just hung out and waited for our room. So we come back to check, you know, we get our key to the room. We go in there, and it's like from the 1950s, and it looks like it wasn't touched since the 1950s.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I mean, the bathroom was that, the old 50 tiles, that little tiles that are pink and white.
Mm-hmm.
And the toilet looked like it was still from back then. The shower was pitted, and it looked like they painted over it at one time, and it was peeling. There was hair in the shower still.
Nice.
Okay. And that's the first thing I noticed, by the way, was the bathroom, because we did not know. Like, it said, the door said room 37. Here, there's a front door and a back door. Well, we entered through the back way, which is, when you open that door, is the bathroom. The bathroom has a door. So,
wow.
So as soon as we opened it, there's the toilet. There's the shower. This big pink and white room looked absolutely horrible. So we go in there, and then you make a right, and that leads you out to the bedroom. And you knew this was going to be a nightmare as soon as you saw the bathroom. So we get in there, and the bed looked nice. I mean, you could tell they set everything up for the photos on the website. So, like, they took a picture of the bed, and the backboard looked nice and everything. And then so that was fine. It looked nice, but the rest of the room was total shit. And, you know, they had a couch there that was definitely from the 50s and looks like hell. And picture this, Jason, Florida, no central air.
Oof.
An air conditioner was in a walk-in closet. You know, one of those, it was just thrown into the wall. And so the air conditioner was basically, that walk-in closet was freezing. I mean, that was fine, but it wasn't coming out to the whole big area that it had to do.
Right.
So the room was hot. I mean, it was like, it had to be 80. This little tiny air conditioner wasn't doing shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. And the kitchen was so tiny. It was like, I can't even explain, but when they show it on the website, and you guys can go to the website, Treasure Island Beach Club, and the photos look fine. You're like, oh man, it looks great. And so they took a picture of the kitchen a certain angle, so you can't tell how tiny it is really. You just see the cabinet, the countertops and stuff, and it looked great. And the kitchen wasn't that bad, but it was so tiny you couldn't even move. You literally had to just like kind of like get in there and just turn to the left a little, turn to the right if you want to do something. You know, couldn't walk in there really. But so yeah, I was like, I'm not staying here if this air conditioner. You know, the air conditioner was really a big deal breaker for me. That bathroom was killing me too. I couldn't get the bathroom out of my head and the air conditioner out of my head. I'm like, how's the place not have central air in Florida?
Welcome to your vacation in paradise.
So
it says on the website.
Oh, you there now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the pool area looks nice. I mean, the photo looks, you know, I was like, wow, that's cool. They have the palm trees near it, and the pool area did look good. But so we said, well, you know what? We'll go get something to eat, and we'll come back and see if this room cools down at all, see if it gets any better in there. I turned it up to high. It wasn't on high. I said, well, let's turn this on high and see if it cools the room down. We'll go get something to eat, come back. And if that's not cooled down, we're going to do something here. You know, we went out to eat, came back, and it was still hot in there. And I was like, nah, this is it. We're not doing it. There's no way. We got to search around here for something else, because I can't do this for a whole week. And right down a couple hotels down, 3 of them, I think it was, is Treasure Island Beach Resort. And this place was just built. Beautiful. And it was considerably, it was a lot more money, but they had one room available, a junior suite, it was called. How fitting, Gotti Jr., junior suite.
Yeah.
And they had one room available, and I'm like, oh my God, we got to do this, because, you know, I am not spending a week in that other place. And,
yeah, that would have been bad.
Oh. So, long story short, we had to call, because she did it through booking.com. We had to call them up, and they talked to the front desk at the other motel. And so they canceled that. I had to eat one night, though. That was the bad part. So I had to pay for one night to stay there, even though I didn't stay there, and then switch over to the resort.
Which I'm looking at this website now. It's completely different. Definitely looks nice.
The resort?
Yeah.
Oh, it was beautiful. I sent Allison some photos, and she's like, she wanted to come down. And, yeah, and they were fantastic. I mean, the front desk was so nice to you. So anybody that's going to Treasure Island, go to the Treasure Island Beach Resort. You guys will absolutely love it. They cater to you. They treat you like you're somebody. And it's just a fantastic place. Clean. And the pool area is beautiful. I mean, they had a guy there, Mike. Shout out to this guy. He was awesome. He's like the towel boy. And you go to the pool, and he puts the towel down over the chair.
Carrie met him first.
Yeah. He's a great guy. And
check out my pool boy, Gotti.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, hey, what's up, Mike? And well, they had a pool. They had a waitress there that goes around the pool, Alina. So I met her too, and she was fantastic the whole week. Those guys just hustled and made everybody feel like like I said, they made you feel like you're somebody. And the guy opened up the gate for you to the pool. He put the towel down on the chairs for you, right? He gave you extra towels. The towels, if you had towels laying around, he'd come by, pick them up, give you new ones. And then they came by and made sure you had drinks all the time, food, whatever you needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. And then the beach is right there. I mean, you just walk right down the steps and then you go out to the beach. It was just beautiful. Great time. So glad we switched, and it's well worth it.
Yeah, it sounds like that was the good decision right off the bat.
Yeah. I'll send you some more photos. The room was fantastic, and they just did a great job every day of making sure everything was clean. It was just fantastic. So I felt like I was experiencing what the other how they live, like how you live, Jason. So
yeah,
I was like, man, this must be what it's like to be like Ruona. So,
mm-hmm.
so good. So that was my vacation.
I don't remember the last time I've even went on vacation.
Have you ever been to Treasure Island?
No.
No, we have to come down sometime when I'm down there. It's really nice. I know how you are with beaches, though. You're like Larry David staring at.
Yeah, I've seen it. I get it. Yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand. What's the fascination?
I don't understand what people see in this. I get it. I don't need to sit out here.
And I love the beach on that side, the Gulf side, because the waves aren't beating you up constantly. It's just they come in nice and smooth, and you just have a good time floating around out there.
Yeah.
And the water was beautiful, and I went down worrying about the flesh-eating disease, but I did not get it. Happy to report.
Okay. That's good.
I had people saying to me, "Oh, you're going to get that. You're going to get it." Like, nah, nothing. It was fine.
Yeah. It's like a bent iPhone. Still don't have mine bent.
Yeah.
My phone still hasn't bent. But, yeah, I can't remember. We went to... God, where did we go when we did our vacation? Was I'll have to look it up while we're talking, but wherever we went, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I had a great week. I was down there visiting my daughter, who moved down there recently, so it was just a great time, and that's a beautiful area. And yeah, and then, like I said, jet skiing, it was fantastic. So great week for the weather was just beautiful. Can't say enough about it. So that was my trip. And Jason was at the E Nationals, kicking ass over there.
Virginia, yeah. We flew into Maryland, and then drove. Took a couple hours to get there for whatever reason, but went pretty well.
Went the dirt roads?
No, it took a while. It's like it said it was only like 80 miles, but it still took like quite a while to, I don't know, traffic or roads or whatever. But yeah, went pretty well. Good race. We'd never been to that track before. Adrenaline RC. Purpose-built facility, track area, plus the hobby store, and they real good hosts for that event. They had a pretty good turnout. Last year we did the Roar-Nats in Omaha. Omaha. For the E-Nats, we did that one there, and they didn't have a good turnout. It was like 70 or 80 entries.
Really?
Yeah, which wasn't very good. But then we got here, we did, I think it was about 130, 125, something like that.
All right.
Which was good. I mean, that was kind of a nice program. It was a nice, relaxed program. They ran it strict, but still we were out of there in a decent amount of time and was able to kind of go to a normal dinner. And some of these races, you get out too late. You get out at like 10 o'clock and there's just no time. So, yeah,
that's not bad.
Yeah, so it was a good race, and Mayfield kind of came alive the second day. Got his stuff working really well on Saturday, and pulled out the TQ in the very last round. That was in the buggy class. There was 4 different TQs in the buggy class, and he actually TQ'd the last round, which is good because that's usually when the track is the fastest. So if there's any kind of tie break, it's usually you're at a really good advantage being the fast guy in the last won because of the speed of the track. So that worked in his advantage there, and he had then he got the top spot for the main, and on that track being as tight as it was just a big advantage to start out front, and just ran a great race. Never made a mistake when he was out front, and won the first two mains, and so it was nice. Nice to see what he was able to do at that race again, and that's his fifth win in a row.
Wow!
In the e-buggy class, and he's won 6 overall. So had a hell of a record in that class. He's actually won the truck class a couple times too, but the buggy one seems to be where he really does most of his damage. So he's also won short course a couple times. So that E-Nationals has been pretty good to him over the years, and us as well. Yeah. So we were able to use our Lips tires there again, like we did at the Fuel Nationals, because it was an indoor track. So they worked extremely well on that track. We were able to, we started with the green compound, then we got into some golds. We tried those, and eventually the guys settled on blues being their favorite.
Plaids.
Plaids.
Yeah, plaid.
It's gone to plaid. No, we got some platinums we mess with occasionally, but no plaid. Yeah, platinum we made a long time ago, which was harder than our original yellow compound. And we made them, and Mayfield ran them at a couple races back in the day. This is probably like 08, 09. He ran a few of them back then when the tracks were really hot and abrasive and outdoors. But we never really seen a production on those, because in general the harder tires don't really sell that well, because a lot of the racing, a lot of people always assume that the softer tires are better. And so running something that hard like a platinum really, like I said, he only ran it a couple times, and that was like the one I remember specifically was he ran it at Thunder Alley a long time ago. But yeah, over the years we've never really felt the need to use it long term. Holy crap.
What's that?
I was just watching a video here.
Resort?
No, I checked the website though. But yeah, so back to the race. Yeah, the platinum compound is something we always use that. We always kind of maintain that that color or that name for a compound if we need it.
Yeah.
But never been something we've really needed on a production level.
Did I ever tell you the story how we Trinity came up with the plaid?
Yes,
I did. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but
it was we had an accountant there that he always wore a plaid shirt.
Oh, okay.
So we were trying to come up with names for these foam tires, and Tony P's like, "What do you think of plaid, Gotti?" I'm like, "Plaid?" He's like, "Yeah," because he's always wearing a plaid shirt.
You're like, "Yeah."
I like it. I like it. So then I think, that was the first. That's how we came up with plaid. Too funny. I don't think the accountant ever knew that though. So we got to keep it quiet.
You're like,
in case he's listening.
Like, go ahead and input this new product into the system for us. Compound is plaid.
Yeah, I wonder if he ever caught on to that. He was a good guy though. I liked him. Anyway, so I think there's other companies out there in RC right now using plaid, right?
I think over the years, and maybe it was Trinity, but yeah, with some of the on-road foam tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that race, drove back Sunday night, Well, we got there on a Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
kind of late not late in the day, but middle way through the day. There was guys already there practicing. Joe Bornhorst, Jared Tebow, Ryan Lutz, I believe they were there early on Wednesday. We got there like middle of the way through the day, and guys got a little shakedown, tires mounted, shake down the equipment. And then Thursday is a little more limited, more of a control practice day, but. So I felt like, to some extent, we're a little bit behind the power curve there because if you have an open practice day, you can get so much done, especially in a race like that. So I felt like the guys that got there a little earlier got some of their things figured out a little bit quicker. So it took us, by the time we were into qualifying is when the guys kind of settled on what they were really liking.
Wow.
And then that's what Mayfield started running a little better, and Spencer was running so well. So, yeah, that Joe Bornhorst won Truggy, which was kind of nice for him because he had TQ'd the year before, but Mayfield beat him in the mains. I felt like Mayfield kind of outdrove him last year, and then this year, Joe, on this track, he got the front row position, and I think that was just a much better. Just on this track, you kind of had to TQ, so I think that was a big advantage. I thought that was a pretty big advantage to TQ, and once Joe got the TQ and Truggy, I thought that was kind of what he needed. And then, of course, that's what Mayfield had. And then in the short course class, Dakota won that one pretty easily, just being a little bit better in 4x4 short course than the racers he was racing.
How's the short course turnout these days?
It's not that great. 4x4 short course it does okay at some of these events where the track is big and maybe there's 8 scale goes along with it.
Might be able to eliminate that class soon from the Nationals, huh?
Yeah, it's possible. It's really unfortunate, too, because that class was so good to the industry. And the fact now that it's not really a racing class anymore. It's the way I kind of look at it. There's still people that do race it, but nobody really pays attention to it anymore as a racing class. The pros that run it, they only run it because they get bonus money for the most part for winning it. Back in the day, they used to run it because they liked it. It was fun to race, but now it's just not the same. And it's just not the hot thing in the business anymore. And we really miss it. The industry really misses it because it's a great entry level class. And I think it still sells for the most part. It's still a good seller in the vehicles in general. Like I think, Traxxas still does extremely well with theirs. The Slash, it's always been sort of the benchmark of selling vehicles.
So what are these guys doing then when they're buying them?
I think they're just playing with it. It's not they're not going to race them. They're just going to drive them as a bash vehicle because you can get them relatively cheap. A couple $100 for a Slash, and they are great, fun play vehicles. So yeah, I kind of wish I knew what would be the next big thing that would help out the industry, because I think the short course did so well. It helped generate interest, and it not only renewed some new people getting into it, but it also got some of the older guys back into it. Not really so much older in age, but just older in experience. Kind of got them back out doing racing again, and we don't really have that class right now, so we have to depend on two-wheel buggy more than ever. And with the rapidness of them changing, it's a little bit stale right now, the 10 scale market.
So did these guys realize like, oh, okay, so I had the short course truck, I'm racing it, but did they realize like did they move on to another class, or did they just say like, oh, wait a minute, I gotta still spend as much money to be competitive?
Well, I don't know that it was about the money so much. I think what happened is when the trucks were very simple, and when they were they looked like real trucks, they were somewhat simple. The tire selections were a little light. There wasn't a lot of selections. It really was a fun class you could race, and you didn't care if you won or lost. It was just something that you would drive and race in, and it was just like whatever happened. You were comfortable with it, and then guys would also get like two-wheel buggies, and the two-wheel buggy was the one they took a little more seriously, of course, but that short course was always easy for them, and it was fun, another class to compete in. But when it started getting more and more serious, the trucks were changing. It became less about the realism of what the real truck looked like. Then I think it really started dropping off, going to mid-motor short courses, and that's when the changes really happened. Wow. I mean, back in like 2010, 11, 12, that was probably the high point of short course, and it was great. I mean, I remember being just as pumped up and nervous about Mayfield racing short course then as it was in two-wheel. Mm-hmm. And now you see one of the guys run it, and it's just like, it just doesn't really matter anymore, unfortunately. So, and it just all kind of peeled away over time, and just became kind of just another class that's out there that doesn't really have a lot of meaning to it. So I don't know, something's got to come around here eventually and be sort of the new gateway fun class to get kind of some more people interested. And it's just, I think it has to look realistic. That's what people want. That's what gets people into it. If it looks real, people find it for some reason when it's like that. When you got these high-end vehicles that don't look like anything, you have to be very advanced for it to. You don't care about the looks anymore. It's all about just performance and results and that side of it. But to get started, I think it's important that it looks like something. And so we don't really have that going. So everybody wishes they had that magic. They could pull that rabbit out of the hat. But it seems like the last few times when that has happened, it's been Traxxas that's pulled the rabbit out of the hat.
Traxxas. Good old Traxxas.
Yeah. They've always just been really good at, well, I'm not going to say always, but they're just so popular in the RTR and the entry-level business that what they do steers a lot of the industry. Right now, the big thing in the industry is scale trucks. We've talked about it before. I mean, we've had Brad on from Element, obviously Associated changing their whole company to let in scale trucks and scale trail trucks into their lineup should tell everybody what's happening in the business. Is any time you got somebody like that, they basically change their whole company to do it. So there's got to be something.
Yeah, Brad Gick, episode 193. That was from May 23rd. So if you want to go listen to that one. I see a lot of photos out there of these guys getting the Element.
Yeah, I'm a member of a lot of these groups, and I just kind of see guys pop in. And yeah, so far it's been going pretty well. I mean, we have one here at the shop. I haven't driven it yet.
I see some photos of guys like really tricking them out, like, making them look really freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
Putting a lot of work into them.
There's kind of two sides to it. One of the things that Brad explained, but there's the guys that are more performance oriented, and then they'll make some decisions on their truck and more towards performance end of things, and then there's the guys that are just only want it to be as scale as possible.
Yeah, that's the ones I'm talking about. Yeah, I've seen photos. I was like, wow, that's
and typically the more scale that it is, the smaller the tires are. And because the reality is the tires we use in RC are gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why our vehicles all work so well, because we have huge tires. Even a lot of these scale trucks, even the Associated truck, it comes with a tire that it would be equivalent to like a real 40-inch real truck tire. And a 40-inch, that's practically the biggest street legal tire you can run is like over a 40-inch tire. There wasn't, at one time, a 48-inch tire was considered a monster truck. So essentially a lot of these scale trucks are coming with monster truck size tires.
Yeah.
And when you actually see a 10 scale tire in your hand, you're like, wow, this thing is puny. This is nothing. And that's the reality. Yeah. But when you look at them, you're just like, it's not as, I like the little bigger tire personally. So I like the RC scale trucks, but I like them with a little bit bigger tire because I think RC works better with a little bigger tire, as they have in all the classes. So I think that you can do a little better off-roading trails and things with a little bigger tire. And if you have to make the whole thing scale, it's pretty puny. Really limits kind of what you can do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of little nuances to that genre of RC, I guess you could say. But yeah, like you said, it looks like that truck is selling. It's out there. The part that I noticed right away that's tough in that segment is once you have the truck out, what do you go from there? Because, in racing, you can talk about results. You can talk about you can talk about setups. You can talk about a lot of things, and it's because there's usually races and things to do with the equipment. So you can kind of maintain the momentum because of some of that stuff. And with these scale trucks, you kind of have to let the people and the product has to dictate the momentum, because you can't really do it with results, because there really is no results. So
that's true.
So you have to either come out with new product or updates, or have little accessories to add to it, or you have to rely on other people showing you what they did with theirs to create some buzz, because there's really, that's it. There's nothing that's, kind of keeping you excited. So that's what I see that's a little bit different about it so far that I've seen is, it's like Associated it was really nice. They were doing a lot of the marketing and things, getting that vehicle going. It was great because they could tease it. They could, lay it out in the garage box that they have, and a lot of cool things once you get it going. But then, now I see things online. It's like, well, the truck's out now. Like, it's like, now I'm bored already. It's like, it's like there's, they showed some aluminum parts. It's like, yeah, I get it, aluminum parts. But it's like, you kind of want to see more. You want to see, you want to see it in action, or there's something to it. Like, that's what kind of keeps me going, I guess, is what's next week? What's the week after that? It's definitely different from that standpoint. Definitely a lot different.
Yeah, I guess you just gotta. Yeah, I don't know. Seeing these videos, Axial Fest, I guess, stuff like that. I don't know what other events are out there for them, but
there definitely is events.
Yeah, and you just gotta.
But there's no winners and losers.
Yeah, I know. That's
for the most part. For the most part, they do have competitions where but it's not like people see it as. It's not like racing, where there's. So it's a little different from that standpoint.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh, Element dominated this weekend over at, like,
yeah.
There's that.
It does that. I mean, I suppose you could have a competition-based event and you could say that you dominated, but people don't really care.
Yeah, they're just going out and having fun with these things.
Yeah, so that it's totally different from that standpoint.
It's got to be tough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's doing well in the market. Of course, they got, it's just like everybody is up against Traxxas and Axial.
Well, I mean, those events are attracting a lot of, over 1,000 people at these Axial events, right?
Yeah, last year's Axial Fest, I believe they had over 1,000 entrants.
Wow.
Yeah, which is huge.
What else?
The event itself it's kind of like, I think, is a little bit like a party sometimes, where you're kind of hanging out, you're cooking with your buddies, and then you go out and you do runs, trail runs, and you come back and get some snacks or whatever, and you chill out, and then you go back out on another run and do another course or a trail, and it's a little bit more like. I don't know. To me, it's almost like tailgating.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's almost like tailgating, but with where you can go run your truck, which I think is kind of a unique. I think there is something to be said for that, because you're not judged on anything. In racing, you're judged on your speed, right? Yeah. So, and some people really get off on being in a competition that's like that. But I think in general, when you're not being judged on some of these things, it's a little more relaxing for people. And it doesn't matter how prepared or how cool their equipment is. It's just, they're just hanging out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's going well right now. We'll see if it continues at the momentum we have. There's a ton of people in the business. There's a lot of competition, different makes and models, and lots of competition. So it's a little bit heavy with competition. So it's hard to make your mark.
So do you think some of these short course guys went over there to scale, like to the?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Because I think they probably got short courses because they liked the way they looked. It got over competitive, too difficult, and then they started looking for other scale things to play with. And I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people that were from that segment. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of old racers out there, people that used to race at one point or another, and they wanted to kind of move on. They still like RC cars. I mean, I don't really know anybody that gets out of it because they don't like RC cars. So that's why some of this stuff doesn't really surprise me at times, because there is I don't know what the right word is, but they want to be involved in RC cars, but they get so far down the road in the racing side, they're not seeing them doing well or improving, so they jump into something else. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of guys out there that were former racers. It's going to continue to be like that. But you know what? As long as they're in RC, I'm pretty happy with that as well. And like I said, I don't really know a lot of people that have been into RC that just don't ever want to do it. That they just quit liking RC cars. They still like RC cars. So we'll see. A lot of drag racing going on too.
Drag racing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously we got some products for drag racing, and we've had, a lot of. We've been doing that for the last couple of years. Different bodies and some wheels and tires, and you can really see that people are really motivated in the drag racing scene right now. And it's like I said, it's people. It's also people that have experience in RC that they keep moving around to these different segments. And of course, you get new people too here and there. You kind of suck them in, but they're liking it because they look realistic. Mm-hmm. They can build a Chevy Nova, or they can build a Chevelle, or we have the '66 Chevy, and there's all these different things they can build. And you see people all the time that reference, oh, my dad had one of these, or my grandpa, this was his favorite car, and this has always been my favorite car. And when they're referencing that, and that they're building the car around that, it's impressive. That's what's making the difference to them. When they see this B6 buggy, they don't want to get into it. There's no draw to them. But there's a draw once you're into racing and you don't care about what the car looks like anymore. Now you're into it, right?
Yeah.
So that was the appeal of the original RC10. It was a race car that kind of looked like a buggy. And I've been doing some research lately, watching some old videos and some of the things that are around, and it's amazing listening to some of these old videotapes from the 80s. There's the one that came with the RC. I don't know if it came with the RC10, but it's called The Winning Edge, I think, is one of them. Mm-hmm. And then there was one that was linked, or the one that was right after that. But the first one, I believe, was an associated video. And then the second one is very similar, but I don't think it was an associated video. But a lot of the same characters are in them. But it's cool to watch some of those videos. I mean, these things are from the 80s. I mean, these things are over 30 years old.
Man. And
the stuff that they're saying in these videos still makes a lot of sense. And it's kind of surprising. And where they're driving the car is funny in the video. Some of the videos, they're driving them on the beach. They're driving an RC10 on the beach, which is, you would just never see that today. You'd never see them drive a B6 on the beach. But then they were driving the RC10 on the beach as kind of a fun action video, because not only was it a race car, but it was also a play car. It was fun to play with, so you could do. It was very versatile, and now they're so specific that it kind of limits a little more what you can do. But yeah, it's fun. So I was working on this. I'm thinking about doing this video where on our YouTube channel where I talk about my favorite RC cars of all time.
Oh, okay.
So I was doing a little research on some of the old RC10 videos, and then I've been looking up some stuff about the JRXT lately, because I was able to get my hands on a new are actually a replica of the truck I won in 1991. The 1991 Winter Champs, Jay Halsey was driving for Team Losi then, and he TQ'd modified truck with a JRXT. And when the race was over, since Team Losi was a sponsor of the race, they decided they were going to give away this truck, or his TQ truck, and I actually won it. So I got my picture taken with Jay. I got this truck and I brought it home, and I had it forever. And then when I moved to California, my parents, I don't know, they threw it away basically. But so there's a guy, Jason Santos, who does a lot of vintage RC stuff. And before I even knew him personally, he had seen this picture of a JRXT in the magazine with me holding it, and he wanted to build a replica of this truck. So he built a replica of the truck that I won, and recently he decided he wanted to sell some of his cars, and I bought the JRXT from him. So, and it's fully loaded with electrical. It looks just like the truck that I won, actually better. It looks better than the real truck that I won. So I was kind of doing a little bit of research on the truck and to try to make a video and, give us another use to have the truck around, but also it was also my first racing vehicle was the JRXT, and then kind of coincidentally I won one from Jay Halsey. And I mean, and when I talked to him today, I mean, he remembers me from winning that truck. Even all the years, and I raced against him on the track, and all these different things, and he's called me before to ask about business stuff, and I'm just thinking, what are you calling me for about this? But it's like, he's asking me about barcodes. He calls me one day and talks to me about barcodes and all that. I'm just like, why are you asking me about all this stuff for? You're Jam and Jay, right?
Yeah, right.
But it's cool because he doesn't, what is kind of nice is he's very, I don't really know what the right word is when people say you're down to earth or whatever. That's kind of how he is. And I think it doesn't matter to him if he's thinking, hey, this guy knows about something I need to research. He's just going to call you. But that's where I met him. I won his truck, and I was like a nobody at my first big race, and I won his truck. And so yeah, I ended up getting a replica back through buying this thing. So, and it just looks awesome. I mean, I was like half the day I'm like carrying this thing around, like thinking it's so cool.
Yeah.
But, the guys around here like AJ and everything, they're like looking at it like, this is what you ran? Yep, this was our truck. But yeah, I wanted to make a video, talk about some of my favorite RC cars, and that'll probably be the first one just because that was my first race truck. And it's tough. There's a lot of information out there about the RC10. I mean, there's so many people that love that car. Of course, that'll be another vehicle for another video, but there isn't a ton of information about the JRXT. There's a little bit out there, but it's not like, I mean, I actually looked for a video of it driving around a track somewhere, and there is no video like on YouTube. Like I'm like, wow. There's not anybody driving a JRXT around a track on YouTube that I've seen. There's some people driving one in a yard. There's somebody that's claiming like they got the world's fastest JRXT. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of those kind of videos.
Yeah.
But there's nothing of it actually on a track.
That's a shame.
It is, because like I'm doing this video with Rich, and Rich is like, hey, do you have any video of this thing? I'm like, no. And he's like, well, we need to try to find something. I'm like, yeah, I agree. That would be great to add into the video. And then I'm thinking, I'm like, am I going to have to go get another one of these and drive it on a track somewhere so we have video of this thing? It depends how good of a video we want to do, right? But yeah. I think it really needs to be done. I think it needs to be driven on some kind of a track to kind of show what it looks like driving around the track, because that's what I started with. And They're just nothing like that exists right now on YouTube or something like that, where seeing this vehicle in action. There's people restoring them. There's people with videos restoring them, putting them back together, but yeah, not a lot out there.
Wow.
But I think it's, you can watch a video of the 85 Worlds, when Jay Halsey wins with his first RC10 and Gil Losi Jr. wins in a four-wheel. There's some video of that out there. You can see that, but there's just not much, like on the box of the stadium truck, or actually they call it a monster truck.
Yeah.
But when they released it, but if you look at the results on the box, there was a lot of races they ran in, and there's got to be some video somewhere of these races. Would be super cool to see. Because it's like, Jack Johnson won this class in 1989, and Kyle Reed won this class, and it's like, yeah, it'd be cool to see that. It'd be cool to see that video for sure.
Yeah, I wish we had the technology now, like we have now for back then, to take videos easily, and it'd been really cool. But we didn't. We had those big ass camcorders.
Yeah, and then you had that VHS tape that
people
you could get lost. What I had was I had the mini one.
Yeah, the 8 or
and
something.
Then I can't remember what it was called, but you took the mini one out of the camera and then you put it into like an adapter that looked like a VHS.
Yep, absolutely.
So you put the tape in there, you close the lid, and you like push the button, and it like kind of and then you put that in the VCR, and then you watch that.
But I've lost those tapes. Like I've had them, that was like mid-90s. And I had a lot of stuff on those tapes too, but damn. It's not as easy today. You can upload it and save it and all sort of stuff.
That's incredible what you can do. I recorded A1 and A2 of E-Buggy from the Nationals, that race we were just talking about, and I got back and I told Thomas, I'm like, well, I have these videos. We might as well just throw them up on YouTube. And we put them on YouTube, and I'm like, this thing looks great.
Yeah.
Like I videoed it with my phone. It looks great.
Yeah.
And now granted, it's not perfect, but it's like I brought zero equipment with me but my phone, and I videoed this main from the driver's stand, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, these phones the cameras are getting better and better every year.
I know, and I'm sure everyone's probably due for another update already, and the stuff's just going to get even better. I found one of the ads. We talked about this a little bit before, but we got the JRXT sweeps the Roar 1990 Roar Nationals. 19 out of the 20 cars in the A main were Team Losi trucks. So that I think they're talking about there's 2 A main stock and modified. So 19 of the 20 were Team Losi JRXT. Fact, first, second, and third and TQ modified were all powered by Revolution Motors, which was Losi's motor brand.
Yep.
Revolution, and then now it says the JRXT has won every Norca and Roar monster truck national championship. So they called it monster truck back then, but it's pretty funny. What's funny is it looks nothing like a monster truck. It's funny that they actually think like, they're like, this is a monster truck, and it's like it looks nothing like a monster truck. They actually paint it. They don't even paint it like a monster truck. So there must have been some naming. The first sentence is, there is a monster on the loose devouring its competition. And it's like, it's not a monster truck. But I think where it came from is the Blackfoot from Tamiya was the original truck. And they used Blackfoot wheels and tires, which happen to be 2.2 inch wheels. That's where that whole size comes from, is from the Blackfoot. And when guys started converting RC10s and JRX2s to trucks, they used Blackfoot tires, and I think they were calling them monster trucks. because of this Blackfoot connection, which it's obviously called Blackfoot because there was Bigfoot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so that was kind of their way of getting around a lot of the naming and that stuff that Tamiya did back then. Blackfoot, the name is probably a version of Bigfoot. When they released the Clodbuster, that truck is they built it in the image of a real monster truck. There was a truck called Samson and Excalibur, and it's kind of a mix of those trucks. And they had their vehicle called Vanessa's Lunchbox, and that was built to look like a truck called Rolling Thunder. Mm. And the graphics on the side are almost identical, with the exception of they put for Vanessa's Lunchbox, I think they had a little truck behind the lightning bolt on the real truck, and on the Lunchbox, they had a girl because it was Vanessa. Oh, wait a second. No, it's Vanessa in a van popping out of a window with this little lightning bolt. And but yeah, all these were based off of real monster trucks. And the Lunchbox and the Midnight Pumpkin they had 2.2 inch wheels too, which is funny because we still have 2.2 inch wheels today.
That's amazing.
And it's all based off of all these vehicles having 2.2 inch wheels. I love this thing. I thought it was an excellent RC car. The Lunchbox and the Midnight Pumpkin. And I think Losi actually enjoyed a pretty decent little run of them being kind of one of the only trucks in town that you could buy that was like a full-blown kit. It took till I think Associated, they probably had, that truck was released in 89 and Associated's I think was late 91. So they had a couple years of selling that thing before Associated even got into it. But yeah, that's what my first vehicle, that JRXT, was. I remember taking it out on the driveway and jumping it, and I was just like, this thing's the greatest. I was so convinced. I was like, this thing is great.
Well, you were right, though.
Yeah. I had really pushed the limit with all my Tamiya vehicles, the Clodbuster and the Midnight Pumpkin and the Lunchbox, and then got to that JRXT, and I was like, wow, this is so much different of an animal.
Yeah, Lunchbox. I never had these trucks. You guys were lucky.
These were the entry level of those days. It sounds like you kind of got more into the racing right away.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, you were more into the race cars, and but I kind of had these gateway cars first. Like these, obviously the Tamiya stuff. I had a lot more of these to start off with before I even knew you could race. That's what I had.
Which is weird because I was into monster trucks when I was younger. And there is a photo of me out there wearing a monster truck shirt. I think I sent it to you once. But huh? Yeah, see? I'll have to find that photo. But yeah, my dad purchased me the Hot Shot 2, and that's what kicked it off.
Yeah, so you kind of that was more of a race car. Yeah, Blackfoot actually looks nothing like Bigfoot, but I think the name is what they wanted. That was the name. That was what was important. I wonder if they ever tried to actually consider making it a Bigfoot. I never had a Blackfoot. Maybe I was just despised the name or something. I felt like it was a ripoff.
Yeah, you're like, how dare you?
It's like, yeah, you can't do this. So yeah, what was before? When was our last show? It's been a little while now.
June 28th.
Wow. Okay, so it's been basically we didn't have one in July. Yeah, we didn't have one in July.
We knew July was going to be busy though.
Mm-hmm.
So we missed a lot of stuff in between there.
Yeah, let's take a look. What do we have in July?
You guys just put out a video not too long ago, catching up on all those events through July, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so we had the 1/8 Euros was in Italy. We didn't go to that, but we had our Summer Indoor Nationals. That was at Hobby Action. That was a good race. 115 degrees outside, but great inside. Then we had the Roar Electric Nationals, which is the one we've already talked about. Good race there at Adrenaline. And then they just had the 1/10 Euros. And the On-Road Nationals was this weekend. So the Roar On-Road Nationals. So now there's only, from our perspective, there's only one Roar Nationals left, and that's in a couple weeks here in, let's see. That is the 22nd through the 25th in Columbus, Ohio. So that's the 10 scale. 10 scale nationals.
Oh, okay.
Should be a good one there. I'm thinking that's going to be a pretty full event. Paul and Thomas are going to drive up to that. And then the Surf City Classic is practically the next weekend.
Wow. Back around already.
I know. And let's see here.
A year goes quick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're going to be... by the time the Nationals is over, we're going to be in September. So we got the Roar Nationals 22nd through 25th. So I'm pretty much home till then. And then our Turf Nationals is the first weekend in September. That's in Connecticut. And then the very next week, we leave for the Worlds in Slovakia.
Yeah. Go there, see what we can do.
Mm-hmm. So we got two large events in September. Well, one mega, the Worlds, and then the other one, our Turf Nats, which is also a big race, but it's not Worlds level. So, yeah, this right now is pretty good up until the Roar Nats. Then they got to go boom right to Surf City, and then almost turn around and go to the Worlds pretty soon thereafter. So
don't forget, I want to get Spencer on before the World.
Mm-hmm. Weren't we doing like a karma thing at one point? Like if you're on the show,
yeah, you get the rip karma going for you.
Yeah, that was something.
Mojo.
Yeah, we got to get that going again.
It seemed for a while there, everybody was having success when they were on the show. They'd go out and win.
Yeah.
I think that's also been proven wrong, but we won't mention that.
We're only missing the highlights. Yeah, we're looking forward to these next couple events. Should be entertaining. We've never been to this track in Ohio, so...
Wait, which one's this?
This for the Roar Nationals.
Yeah, what track?
It's called EN Hobbies.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't been there, or any of our guys haven't been there. There's a few of the pros that did the...
I just assumed it was at that CRC, CC,
no.
RC.
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow.
Well, what's interesting about that event is that's not the name of the track. That's the name of the race. Track,
yeah.
It's a little confusing because that track is actually called the RC Factory, I believe. And they host the RC Midwest Championships.
Yeah, good job there.
So it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this track's Ian Hobbies, which I think is actually the layout or the track's going to be built by the same guy that built the other one.
Oh, okay.
So I can kind of see, we might see a similar layout, which actually not similar layout, but at least built by the same person, which usually is good because the layouts are usually pretty nice at CRC.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see a good layout, no doubt about it.
All right. RC, what else you got? So we're busy all the way up till September, past September.
Well, we got a good little break here, run up couple weeks before the Roar, but then September, the big event in September is the Worlds, so that's a couple weeks right there. But before and after, we should have a little bit of time. I think the big conversation at the moment is one thing we were talking about the other night was TLR releasing that new kit. They released what do they call it? Something edition.
Yeah,
Elite edition. That's what it was. Elite edition. So it was a 22 5.0 Elite edition.
Now I was like asking you, does this come with the Kinwald body painted like that? What's going on here? But so it's the box art is like, it looks like the Kinwald car.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So what's with the electronics in there and stuff like that? They just did that for the photo shoot, obviously.
Yeah, I think it was a combo. It was kind of like a combo tribute to Kinwald and a new kit release.
I was all confused. I was asking Jason, I'm like, wait, what? We're going backwards here now? Or
yeah.
Putting these old electronics in, the batteries, the motor.
Yeah, it was kind of neat that they found a very nice looking Cyclone speed control for the vehicle, and then they also put the 4 cells, which is amazing. That all it would fit was 4 batteries in the spot now where we put our actual battery pack.
Jeez.
But yeah, so that was kind of interesting to see. And then they did it have a brushed motor? Yeah, it had a brushed motor in it, Trinity brushed motor, which I think was pretty unique. So I think actually people got really excited when they saw the picture of the car, because it was actually a really nice Kinwald painted body by Bradley's Fine Line painted that body. And I mean, to be honest, Kinwald's bodies were never that nice, but this guy's obviously an amazing painter. Kinwald didn't mind painting his own bodies, and they didn't have to be perfect to him. Like, it was like he liked the fact that he painted them, I think.
Yeah.
Where they painted this one, it was a great looking piece. But yeah, people got excited when they saw it because I think they kind of thought it was a Kinwald kid.
That's what I thought.
Which I think is part of the idea also for them, is it's the opportunity to show some great respect to Kinwald, but then also the opportunity to get a little bit of a sales push out of it, which you can't really blame them for that. But yeah, it's a nice looking car. And to me, I mean, and I think they're kind of banking on this a little bit, that people are going to buy it because the kit box is going to be cool looking because it has Brian's car on it. That's kind of one of the things we had talked about was, there's going to be some people that buy it just because of that.
It would have been cool if they could have got his signature on here somewhere on the car.
I saw his signature on something that I was looking at.
Oh, okay. I don't see it here,
but we have his signature too, because we had him do a signature for us for the products we have. And I'm not sure where, they might have had theirs from the old days, or they just took one off the internet and redid it. But yeah, we actually had Kinwald when we did ours. We had Kinwald sign something, and then we kind of digitized it.
Yeah,
so
that would have been cool on a chassis or something here.
Mm-hmm. But it's tough because, like we talked about, is then you get into, who's do you have to pay royalties for the Kinwald name? And I think by just using his paint job and implying, what you're doing is you're implying that it's a Kinwald car. You're not saying that it's a Kinwald car. Then you're kind of getting out of your any type of a licensing or royalty.
They have Kinwald on the body, the decal. They have your decal back here too. The Kinwald decal, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
On the top view I'm looking at.
Are you looking on this on the web or on Facebook?
On Red RC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look. Oh yeah, so we got there's the pictures, the parts. That's funny how like the Cyclone speed control and the brushed motor.
Yeah, it's so wild.
It's like in a photo. It's in a photo, so it's like it does make you a little confused.
Sure.
Oh
did,
yeah,
man.
they actually have our Kinwald decal.
Yeah.
In the back of the car, and then Team Kinwald on top.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't see that before the top view of the car. I think this is a fun release. Definitely gets people a few things that maybe they found throughout the year here with the car that they didn't. Some improvements. In general, I don't think there's a lot of mega updates here, but if you want to freshen up your car and get all the latest updates, this is a great way to do it.
It kind of almost makes me want to get one just to keep it in the box sealed, put it on the shelf.
Well, that's exactly kind of what they're banking on here. Is not only are people going to get it that race, but they're going to get them people that just like Kinwald, which is I'm kind of one of those guys that would be like, oh, I would need this.
They got the Trinity sticker on there on the side. That'd be cool. That'd be cool for me just to have that.
Yeah. Kinwald had these decals that wasn't like the real Trinity and the real Losi logo.
No.
Like it's like a modified version of the logo they used for their company, which was now you couldn't really do. No, they wouldn't want you to do that. But somewhere along the line, Kinwald got to where he was using this, these modified versions of the logos for some reason. And what was funny is that was also when he was like kind of in his, I don't know what you call it, prime or whatever. But when he was very dominant, he used that logo style.
I think they came out. I think they came out with this sticker sheet at one time like that, didn't they?
There is a decal sheet that looks like that, but it came with when they made his car, I think.
Okay.
When they had one of his editions.
Kinwald edition, yeah.
Yeah. But like you were saying, but I think these were custom before that, and then they kind of were like, well, if we're going to have a Kinwald edition, we kind of need to. So they kind of mocked up the decals he was actually using.
I hope the box art is like this.
I think it's supposed to be. I think this is supposed to be on the box itself.
Wow. Man, I'll tell you what, I really would like to have one. The kit will hit the stores by the end of August. But yeah, I would keep it sealed.
It's a good car.
We were talking about the Kinwald edition at one point in the podcast a few episodes ago. Somebody sent us a photo they had of a sealed one. I forget who it was, but man, that'd be sweet to have one of those sealed. Damn. Cool stuff. Well, I'm sure they will sell a lot of those.
Yeah, I think that's the hope is, they throw some Kinwald on it, put some new items in the kit, and yeah, you got a good solid piece. Over not this weekend, but last weekend they had the King of Kings race, which is up in it's the border of Indiana, and I wish I could really remember precisely the city, but it's owned by the Myers family, which is Dakota Fenn's wife, Chloe. Her family owns this track, and it's the last event they're going to have on the outdoor track.
Oh, State Line RC?
Yeah, exactly. Fremont, Indiana. That's where it is. So they had over 400 entries there. We had Mac and Dave Duncan went up to the race and just kind of supported the event for us.
J Concepts title sponsor.
Mm-hmm. So it was good to be a part.
Yeah, this track's really nice. This track reminds me of the days back in the day. One of the tracks in my area that looked like that, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Got people back there. The cars are pulled up right alongside the track. Got some trees there. That's pretty nice.
People love going to this track. They bring a lot of, campers and haulers, and it's just I think it's a great time for people to kind of, they like to kind of settle in and so yeah, that's supposedly going to be the last one outside, which I'm not exactly sure why they are not going to have it anymore. They're not going to have an event out here anymore.
What? This track's closing?
I think. Well, there's two tracks. There's a driver stand, and on one side of it, there's a like an oval or a 10 scale track.
Okay.
And then on the other side of it is the bigger 8 scale track. And
I see a layout here. They have a drawing here.
And the 8 scale one is the one they're not going to run anymore, supposedly. I'm not exactly sure why, but, maybe they're just tired of maintaining it or whatever the case may be. But I still think they're going to run the 10 scale version. So, yeah, I think they're still going to run on the 10 scale oval. It's probably easier to maintain, easier to work on, more predictable turnouts or something. And the 8 scale one, I don't know. I don't see why they wouldn't still just do this race once a year. I mean, especially when you get that kind of a turnout. But yeah, people move on or whatever. So I think Dakota wrote something really nice along with others about how it was such a great place for him to race and learn and, meet, meet Chloe. And I think he wrote kind of a nice gushing Facebook report about it. So,
wow.
He didn't have the best of luck at the event. That's what kind of was unfortunate for him, but you try. That's all you can do, right? I think Ryan Lutz was really the big winner there. We had some guys do really well, like Cole Tollard and Tyler Jones. Tyler Jones is one of our guests we're trying to line up for the show.
Oh, yeah, Tyler. We had to move him to next week, right?
Yeah, he's flexible. He's like, yeah, whatever, that's fine.
Sweet.
Yeah, we got in. We got 2 new videos we did in the J Concepts garage. We got, let's see, we got 2 of them out or 1 of them out? We uploaded a couple new ones since the last show we did, but
J Concepts Garage on the YouTubes. And then while you're there, subscribe to Radio Impound Podcast so you can listen to the podcast on YouTube if you want to. I know that's how Jason prefers to listen to it. So
I'm so into YouTube, it's crazy. And I'll watch stuff if it's necessary, but if you can listen, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, that's where I never really listen to podcasts on YouTube, but I put it up there for you. And then anybody else that wants to listen to it, that way they can. I notice nobody really goes to our YouTube page to listen to.
Well, yeah, I think once you get used to using, whatever your app or whatever that you use for podcasts, it's kind of easy. But I just noticed we got 40 of these vlog episodes already.
Wow.
We did one here in, this one looks like it's from, I think this is mostly from June. Then we kind of got one that covers a lot of July. That's the longest one we've ever done. I did with Thomas. It was 47 minutes.
Wow, 47 minutes of goodness.
Of video. 47 minutes of video. So Rich is like, we finished, and he goes, I think that's a new record, 47 minutes. And I go, can we find the people that watch the whole thing? Those are our real fans. But, what we did is Thomas and I said, let's just go through all the events that we've been to this, summer or whatever. And we ran them down, and we gave a lot of information. And for people that like that type of thing, then it's there. I mean, for some people that just want the quick 2-minute deal, then that's what you're gonna get. But if you like,
I think those guys love that stuff though. The YouTube videos.
I have people come up to me and say they like it. So
it's good. It's you guys put out a good video, and I also like what these guys are doing now. Like Spencer, they're doing these Facebook Live videos, and they're answering questions to these guys. I mean, that's fantastic that these guys are embracing that and doing it. And man, I can't imagine. I still when I watch these guys do these Facebook Live videos, taking questions and stuff, how awesome! I can't stop thinking about how awesome would have been to have that back in the day.
Oh God, I'd be so into this stuff.
Oh man, like Ken Wald getting on Facebook Live or something back in the 90s.
Oh my gosh,
he'd break the internet back then.
Of course, yeah. It would have been insane.
It's crazy.
A Cliff-Let shock building video. People just would have been, Joel Johnson explains something, people would just be going crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so we uploaded another one here, another episode about dirt oval and some drag racing stuff. And so that's 2 videos we've done since our last podcast. And then Rich is actually going to probably update one more tomorrow. That's about dirt off-road racing, 10-scale buggy stuff. So that should be cool. Nice. And then we're kind of working on this, the video about the JRXT, that type of thing. It'll be a little different, but a little different format, I suppose. It's not necessarily about our product so much, but it's about an experience.
Yeah.
That I had with the product. So
cool. Head on over to YouTube and check it out.
The YouTubes. Oh, one thing we can go into is a race that just finished up today. Was the Roar On-Road Nationals. And it almost feels like this could be Cavallari's first year running the Roar On-Road Nationals, but he's running it with the Yokomo car this year.
Oh, wow.
Because he's the last couple he's been using the associated car, and but this one is his first one.
How'd he do?
Well, he won.
Great. Well, that was easy.
Yeah, he won it.
Jeez. Wow. Well, congratulations, Cav.
He didn't TQ. Another driver, Brandon, TQ'd all 4 rounds. And then
I like to watch this.
Yeah, and then Cav won the first 2 mains. I believe the driver that TQ'd, he broke in the first main, and then Cav won it. And then the second main, Cav must have got around him and won it. So
truly one of the greatest of all time, Cavalieri.
Oh, yeah.
Can just about race anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the driver that he is. And he's, what I would consider, he's a finisher. He's a guy that he knows how to finish off a main. He knows how to race people one-on-one and get the win. Mentally, he's always very good. He's always mentally very good about racing, with his competitors, and I think that's what that race probably came down to, just being just mentally or a little more experienced in those moments, and him doing such a good job at being a finisher.
Absolute beast. And after all these years, he still got the desire and passion. You know what I mean? So could have hung it up a long time ago. As far as, just cashing it in, phoning it in.
Yeah. And he's still getting these wins. So I'd like to see him come alive this year and win something in off-road at the Nationals, or if he can get it going at the Worlds. I'd like to see him kind of regain a real good...
He had a damn good run there at the A-Scale Nationals.
He did, yeah. He got second there. But yeah, I think he really needs a solid off-road win this year. And with the Nationals coming up, I'd like to see him get his stuff together and really bring a good race. I think it'd be nice for everybody involved, for him, and to show he can do it with the Yokomo and everything else. But obviously, just showed he could do it with the on-road car. But I think also, I think, this isn't I don't really know how to say it, but with all due respect to the competition at this on-road Nats, it's not quite like, running a European on-road race or the Worlds, or an off-road race in the U.S. A little bit different. On-road doesn't quite have as many heroes in the U.S. as we do in off-road. So I think that in all reality, he is winning these races, but he is probably also the best driver.
Okay.
He's probably the best and the most capable, certainly the most experienced.
And he should win these races then, yeah.
I'm not saying he should, but yeah, in a way. He has the experience at this point. The only thing is he just doesn't run a lot of on-road. So he only runs.
That's what's amazing to me.
He only runs twice a year.
That's what's amazing.
So he's never been to this track before. He's never been there before. He's never really run this car much before. But he does have a great mechanic. Randy Castor gets the car dialed for him. Cav really does the driving, but he's just a gifted racer. There's just no question about it. He always has been, and it shouldn't be a surprise that he can win this stuff, because that's really that's what he does.
He keeps winning, wins these races, and I keep thinking back to that. I think it was like a '98 RC Car Action interview with Kinwald, and he's like mentioning, the next up and coming racer to look out for, Ryan Cavalieri. And how true.
Well, he was on the money, because and the reason he said that more than likely is because he raced with him on a local basis, so he could see it coming. Yeah. And I think to give, not only did he race with him on a local basis, he raced with him every week. So yeah, amazing stuff. But the other guy is Spencer. And we've talked to him quite a few times on the show.
Predicted that one too.
Yeah, Kinwald was a big fan of Spencer. And I remember Mayfield really standing up for Spencer with Brent and everybody. And I remember him telling me that he's like, yeah, he goes, I've seen Spencer race at his home tracks, and I've seen him run at the top of his game, and he goes, he's impressive. So when I heard that, I was like, man, there's not many people that he praises.
So you know what he does
on the track. Yeah, it's like he praises somebody, and you're like, okay. It's funny because there's a lot of levels. Like, I'll talk. Me and Paul will be talking about somebody, and we'll make the reference. And Paul will say it. He's like, Paul's like term marshaling, and he'll watch somebody drive, and he's like, yeah, he goes, that guy's actually a really good driver, and but he's not saying like he's a really good driver, like he's the next world champion. Like he's saying that the guy has good control of the car. He looks like he knows what he's doing, and he's so there's a lot of different levels to saying somebody's a really good driver, right? And I think that's what me or Paul would say. Whereas Mayfield's not watching the novice or the stock race and coming back and saying, "Oh, this guy's a great driver," he's wanting to see somebody that really impresses him. Whereas we're watching these other guys and saying, "Man, I'm kind of surprised. This guy's got pretty good skill." In this stock race or this novice race, and but for them to kind of stick their neck out for some of these guys, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see. We just had our Force race in Florida. That was yesterday. I went by there and saw some of the guys. That's our local Florida series. That's once a month. They've kind of been on a summer break.
Yeah, I don't know how you race down there with that heat.
But the nice thing about this track is they built a whole new layout, but it is indoors. It has a roof over it. It's not like a true indoor track, but it's
right.
Just
this
covered.
is the one. Okay, yep, I know which one you mean then.
People always say, "Oh, it's the one covered one with all the poles." Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, it's still got to get hot there, though, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that Florida heat is amazing.
But one thing I noticed was this weekend wasn't quite as hot as it's been normally. So, they had a good race. They had a good turnout, new track layout. So guys were, it was fresh for the people coming in doing the Force race. And Lee Setzer had a great weekend. He TQ'd and won Nitro 8 scale, which I think is his first Nitro win on the series. On the series, he's won a lot of our Super Cup electric races where he's races it a lot more, but this was his first, I think, TQ and win. He's TQ'd quite a few times. I don't think he's ever won though. Mm-hmm. So very cool to see him getting the win. And then JR won 8 scale electric. Him and Lee had a good race in that. There's 2 A mains, and one of them won each. One of them won one main, the other won the other main, and then it goes by who had the fastest winning time.
Oh, okay.
So JR's first main was a little faster, I believe. So he won the overall, which was cool. I'm sure he was pretty excited. He hasn't run as much lately as he'd been running before that, but he's got the skills as always to get the job done. So talk about somebody that's won a lot of races in his life. He's won a lot of races. JR.
Mitch.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like I've won a lot of races. Like
until you compare yourself.
Well, no. I think in general, I've won a lot.
You keep track of all of them?
No, but just in general through the years, I feel like I've won a lot. But guys like JR, people that I can think of that have been doing it this long, Paul Wynn.
Yeah.
Guys that I think like your total number of wins like that you've been racing.
Gotta be insane.
Whether it's club races or regionals or whatever you're racing,
everything counts. Everything counts.
Are you winning? Yeah. Are you winning? And I'd say for sure, between JR, Paul, and myself, we have a ton of wins. But yeah, JR's definitely got to be way up there. I mean, he's got hundreds of wins easily. And that's racing usually once a week. For us in Florida, we never really had the opportunity, for the most part, throughout the years to race multiple times a week. Back in Kinwald, when he raced club races, and he'd race 3 or 4 times a week. So, I mean, it's very possible that Kinwald's won thousands of races. I remember I made a joke once that I was at a race and Kinwald won, and I'm like, yeah, this is his 6,400 and whatever race win. And I know somebody's like, really? I'm like, no, I was kind of joking. And then somebody goes on there and they're like, well, if you kind of do the math, it might be possible,
Wow.
Like if you race 4 days, just say you race 4 times a week, and just to say for math purposes, you race 4 days a week, and you win 3 times a week for 52 weeks. You got right there, you got 200. You got 150 wins. You got 150 wins of club races only, and that's winning 3 times a week. Where a guy like Kinwald, I'm sure in his very most active, he probably raced 4, sometimes 5 days a week when he was his most active, and I wouldn't be surprised if he won 4 or 5 times a week, many times.
Yeah.
So winning thousands of races is definitely not out of. I'm pretty sure I've won hundreds of races, and I'm sure Kinwald's won thousands of races. And it's I'm sure between me, Paul, and JR, we're in the hundreds. I'd say JR is probably ahead of me and Paul, and but I'm sure guys like Kinwald's probably won thousands of races. So
unreal.
And what's funny is you would think that after thousands of races that like leading races or that you wouldn't be nervous but when you talk to Brian, or when I have in the past, and you talk about these things, or even in my own racing, none of that stuff really goes away. You can kind of you can minimize it a lot with experience and just confidence or whatever. Mm-hmm. But what's weird is that stuff still is there no matter how experienced you are. You gotta, because that margin for error is very minimal.
Yeah.
Because how easily you can lose a race, it makes you nervous about winning a race. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Kinwald's probably won thousands of races. 6,000, man, I don't know, how's that even possible?
Jesus.
So 6,000.
You're like that little kid doing with the calculator.
I am. Well, you'd have to win 6,000 races in 20 years. You'd have to win 300 a year, which so 20 years. 300 a year. I don't know. I mean, so you'd have to win. You got to win at least 5, almost 6 races a week to get to.
Yeah. Well, you're somewhere in that area, though, for sure.
Yeah, it's in the thousands. There's no question that's in the thousands.
That's amazing. Because I could count how many times I won on my hands. So. Yeah.
I mean, I know guys that I've dealt with over the years, like Jared Tebow and even Ryan Cavallari, and not really so much Mayfield, but I know especially Jared Tebow. I never saw him really be an average racer. When he came in as a kid, he was really good already. He was already winning races. It's like the kid always won races. And I wouldn't be surprised he's another guy that's won. I'm sure he's won hundreds and hundreds of races. But, he's probably never did the club racing activity like Brian to get into those high thousands, but yeah, I mean, from the first time I ever saw Jared, he was a winning racer. So it's you're doing something where you're so accustomed to always being successful. That's another level of pressure and another level of, I don't know, anxiety, because everything's a win. And if you don't win, it's not a successful day. And then these guys are racing big races, not just like, they're like at a bad day they get third, and a good day they won. A bad day is third. Like that's what Cavallari, and Mayfield did for so many years. It was like, oh, I had a bad weekend, I got third. Good weekend, I TQ'd and won. I was thinking about too with Paul. We were at the Roar Nationals, and I was like thinking. So we think about maybe Kinwald has, probably the most amount of wins overall. I don't think there's anybody that's won more club races, big races than him. But then I was thinking, we were watching Adam Drake run a qualifier or something, and I looked at Paul and I was like, does anybody have any more laps than this guy? I was like, I don't know. I don't think there's anybody that has more laps than Adam Drake. And he's also won a lot. But a lot of his, but he races one, he's really raced a lot more nitro or 8-scale buggy. But, so we're watching him, we're like, the amount that this guy races, and him, by the nature of running nitro, you run a lot of laps running nitro. So it's like, is there anybody that's run more laps than him? I don't know. I don't know if there is anybody, because he's probably been running, racing over 20 years easily. And just how much activity he has throughout the week and the weekends, running nitro, long mains, 30, 45-minute mains like they're nothing. He's running them all the time, where you're probably running, 60, 80 laps per main. Yeah, I can't imagine anybody having many more laps than him, wheel time.
Wow.
A lot of success out there. Adam does a lot of work too. I mean, real work. Go to the office and breaking in engines. And
yeah, I see doing service. You send the engine to them, break it in for you, get it all tuned up.
Yeah, I bought one from him.
Yeah.
I actually haven't used it, but I did buy one from him.
That's cool.
I think we needed a new engine in one of our cars, and then we were using it for some of our younger racers if they needed an engine. And,
oh, nice.
But
I wish they had these services back then, back in the day, like Wally building the kits for you.
Mm-hmm.
Sure could have used that, I tell you. He'll get you a kit race ready, I see. And then out there and run it.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, I can't really say.
There's something for you building your own kit. That's a good thing.
Yep.
But at this point, I would be like, if I bought a kit, I would be like, I'm going to have Wally build it because, I know what it involves and stuff. So if something does go wrong, I could take it apart and fix it. But I want Wally to build it. I'm too old to spend building these kits now.
Well, what happens to me is it's been a while since I've built a full kit. What happens to me is I'll start, and then something else is going on. I gotta, regular work things, or I, go out of town, or it's very easy to get sidetracked, and it's hard to just put the straight time in that it takes to get it all done. Without sacrificing something else. And that's what it does take. If you want to do it, you got to commit that 5 to 8 hours to completely build something nice. and get it done. And what I'd end up doing recently is I do a little bit here, a little bit there, and kind of when I feel like it. And but that's not really enough to get a lot of these things done in a timely manner.
Yeah.
So, like Mayfield will say, he goes, "Hey, he's like, I know I got to build 2 cars before this upcoming race. I give myself X amount of time, and I'll bust out my 2-wheel in 4 or 5 hours, brand new car, ready to go. And then takes a little longer to do maybe a 4-wheel, but maybe takes like a day and a half to do an 8 scale. That's he can kind of plan his day like that. That's where these services like Wally Bills and stuff's coming in handy for guys that maybe do have a lot going on. I've had Wally Bill cars for me; they're nice. But there is something to be said for doing it yourself, getting it ready to go, and driving the car that you did everything yourself. There is still something to be said for that. You do miss out on a little bit by not being involved start to finish.
Yeah, if I was a first time, like if this was my first time getting into the hobby, I wouldn't have Wally build it. But now that I've built kits in the past and stuff, I'd be like, I'm okay with letting him build it. 'Cause, you know what I mean? Like
well, that's how I was.
Yeah. I mean,
I was like, I know how to do it. It's not that I don't know how to do it. It's just that
I don't want to do it. Like I started building that B5 kit once and I was just like, I got bored. And I was just like, I don't want to do it. Like, and I just rather have someone else do it and just get me out on a track. And, yeah, it's amazing. I was looking through some of his stuff there. I think he just posted, I forget what it was. He'll build you a kit for so much money, and then, it's race ready. I mean, ready to go. Boom. He puts everything in it and everything and you just get it and go out. That'd be awesome. I mean, I would love that. If I was to get back into it, I would just have him do it for sure. So that's cool. It's a pretty cool service. Like these guys, like Adam Drake's offering. I would never be able to tune a nitro engine. So, get it race ready. So I would have him do it. Now, after I get it, I guess I could send it in to him. Right. But I mean, like for me to have him do an engine for me would be not really a good thing. I would need to learn how to do it myself. I get out to a track, the weather on these nitro cars affects everything. You got to tune it, right? You got to tune the needles and everything. You got to know how to do all that stuff, right? So I don't know how you learn now all that stuff. That's why I stayed away from nitro, but I love watching nitro. I love watching these guys race nitro, 8 scale nationals and stuff. Love it.
It is.
I'll watch that stuff all the time. I love the pit stops. And it just bugs the hell out of me that I could never do that. I would love to try it, but I don't know. Those cars are awesome, though. I love 8 scale. Love Truggy. Damn. But yeah, for me to go buy one, worthless. Yeah. Anyway, that was episode 198. Two away from the big one.
And I've been thinking about what we're gonna do for trying to round up a 200th guest. So I've been trying to.
Well, I'm glad you have.
Been putting some feelers out there for some people that maybe would be good, but yeah, it's gonna take a little. I gotta track them down a little bit.
All right, well, 198 in the books for August 4th, 2019. Oh, I got to give this body away, too. I'm giving away a Ryan Speaking of 8 scale, I'm giving away the Truggy Mayfield body that you sent me. This was from the, I think you said maybe the Nitro Challenge. This is from.
Yeah.
This one here. I decided to give it away because people saw it in my photo. Because I got myself a Spencer Rivkin autograph wing that says TB12 on it. Let's go. And that one I'm keeping. That's for me.
Yep.
So, and actually, I have a Ryan Mayfield autograph wing right here, too, that you sent me.
Yes.
All right, let's give these two away. I got a wheel up here. I got everybody's name in it. If you're a patron of the show at patreon.com/radioimpound. Depending what tier level you're on, that's how many times your name's on there in this wheel. So I got it all up here. And all I do is I click this button, and it picks a winner. So let's give away the Ryan Mayfield wing. This is an autograph wing.
Okay.
And this one goes to Nate Snyder. Nate Snyder wins the Ryan Mayfield autograph wing. And now I have the Ryan Mayfield truggy body that he used at the Nitro Challenge.
Now, there was 2 bodies he used there, so that was one of them.
Okay.
Because he had a body that he ran during the day and then a body he ran at night. So that was the day body.
Oh, was the night one all white?
Yep.
Okay. So this still has dirt on it, too. There you go.
Yeah, that's...
How about that? You can display this nicely on your shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Big thanks to Mayfield. So let's go up here to the wheel again. Spin this wheel. Yeah, I didn't want to give this one up, but like I said, I had the photo there, and everybody was like, "Oh man, I want that body." So I was like, "Yeah, any patron of the show, you can win it." Matt Hall, you are the winner. I think Matt's won things in the past, so thanks for the support over on Patreon. I appreciate it, and you too can win some prizes. Just go over there and, as little as 1 cannoli a month, get you in the running for these cool prizes that Jason sends us. And he's got more stuff he sent me photos of. So
yeah, I got 2 more bodies. I got some wings. I got a trophy. And actually, I got 2 trophies.
Sweet. So Nate Snyder, you got the wing. Matt Hall got the body.
Perfect.
198 in the books. We'll catch you next week with Tyler Jones. Young kid. Out there killing it, right?
Yeah, won a big race this year. The well, it's arguably could be one of the largest size-wise, the Psycho Nitroplast.
Wow.
He ended up winning 1/8 scale pro buggy there this year. So big time win there. He had a great nationals, Roar Nationals. So yeah, he's got a lot of support online. So I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it.
All right. And if you have any questions for Tyler, look for our posts and just throw them in there. And we'll have them on next week. So we'll catch you then.
Yes, you put it succinctly.
Suck what?
Succinctly, it means perfectly.
Oh, yeah. May I do that?